Okay, so we have that. And then I also, more card sorting here, memory, things with the answers on the back, because I do feel like students can quiz each other. Tier 1, Tier 2 students can quiz each other. That's a fun thing. I like that one. And then, you can get as Pinteresting as you want. So I found this on Pinterest. It's a game called Don't Get Zapped. And essentially they have to answer the question that's on the stick. If they get it right, according to their group members, then they can keep the stick. If they pull a stick and it says, oh no, you've been zapped, all their sticks go in the bucket, okay? Or there's a stick in here that says, steal a stick from another player, So make this just as fun as possible. They're just gonna engage. You want your Tier 1 students to engage so they don't slip, because those are the kids. Tier 1 kids are gonna slip down the ladder when standardized tests come along. Their grades aren't gonna be as good. That's my experience. I went through a whole year. I didn't push my Tier 1 as much as I should have. And I saw their scores went down. They didn't make as much progress. But then I saw Tier 2 and Tier 3 students really pushing it, really growing. And you can't grow more than a year in a year. But my kids who are on a 3rd grade, 4th grade math level, 5th grade, 6th grade reading level, I was pushing them to get closer to where they need to be. And they made more strides because I'm attacking it personalized than if I just let the Tier 1 kids be bored and then let my Tier 3 kids just kind of hang on while I drag them through. Hopefully that makes sense. This is another thing I think I just want to show you because this took a lot of time, okay? So if it's gonna take a lot of time, it better be worth it, right? So I put magnets on here. They weren't great. I wanted them to be laminated, but I didn't laminate them, so I had to cover them with tape. Don't do that. So it's gonna take a lot of time. Now I'm thinking of how better to use this, because your time is valuable. And we aren't taught that as teachers, but your time is valuable. So boil it down to what you need to do. What do your Tier 1 students need from you to review? They don't need you necessarily, right? What do they need? How can you push them a little bit? Tier 2, how can they practice without it getting monotonous, boring, drill and kill? Kind of keep it that way. Tier 2 kind of needs a little bit of the glitter, right? Because Tier 2 is like, yeah, I get it, and I want to practice, but do I really want to practice, or am I just going to like roll the dice and see what happens with my grade? Because I sort of get it already. And then Tier 3 students need small group intervention, and we don't necessarily have that available to us outside of our classrooms as secondary teachers. So doing some of these activities where you can have most of your students occupied and you're watching them in the room and you're making sure that they're not doing anything that requires reprimanding. And then you're with your little babies, your ducklings, the ones that are there and they're thinking, I'm never gonna get this. I never get the help that I need, because they raise their hand and you can get to who you can get to. But if you're stubborn about who needs triage versus who needs a couple stitches, your students are gonna appreciate that. And they're gonna feel more independent. They're gonna feel like they're getting what they need. And then they're gonna trust you like anyone would trust another professional, a doctor, a mechanic, and that's really what you want. You want the students in the community to trust that you are an expert in what you're doing. And this is a way to meet everybody's needs, to prove to them that they can learn their own way and still be successful on all of the standardized tests that are gonna come their way in their lives.